Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. If you are brand new here, my name is Linda. This is Netwood at Home, so welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back and thank you guys so much for being here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than my usual video. I am actually doing something that I don't think I've ever done this before because I'm terrible at it, and so I can't imagine that I've done it. But yeah, so in January, I will be turning 50 years old, and to be honest, I grew up in a very, we weren't affluent or anything like that. We weren't like snooty or hoity-toity. Like, I'm not a trust fund baby, nothing like that. But my parents were decently comfortable, we'll leave it at that. And I never learned how to budget. And so it's through trial and error as an adult in my adult years that I've kind of sort of learned how to, I still really don't know how to budget. Who am I kidding? I don't even know how old I was before I learned how to balance a checkbook properly. So, of course, now we don't write checks, and it's still all a mystery to me. But anyway, I know it sounds probably really stupid, but it's just not something that I am so sorry if you heard that. My Hagrid just had a pongu. Anywho, and pongu in Korean is fart. So anyhow, I never learned certain things. Like, I learned how to cook, I learned how to sew, you know, what I consider like the girly things to do. But budgeting was not one of them. Like, I never learned to properly budget. And I know my ex-husband tried, but his way of teaching was mostly through yelling and getting really frustrated and angry with me. And Roger is super chill, and so he's just kind of like, you know, he just kind of rolls with it, and he's so sweet. And even if I make a mistake in the account and we have to kind of scramble to figure it out, he never gets upset, which is so vastly different than I'm used to. Because even my mom was a screamer growing up. So anyhow, I never learned to have a healthy relationship with money. It was never something that was taught. I don't know if it's supposed to be taught. I honestly couldn't tell you. I do know that for the majority of my life as an adult with children, I have struggled. I think a lot of people struggle. And so this is a very honest and very real kind of video, so prepare yourself. So I am teaching myself how to budget and looking at what we have for finances. There's no reason why Roger and I should struggle, because it's not like we both don't have good paying jobs. Although Roger's job is now kind of transitioning. He's in a transition phase because the owner of the company that he works for has sold the business. And so now it becomes a matter of, does he stay, does he move over to the new company with his coworkers, or does he move on to something else? And so there's kind of a lot of a backstory to that. So anyhow, anyway, my relationship with money has always been kind of turbulent, to say the least, and definitely not a healthy relationship at all. So nearing 50, and I'm so tired of, you know, juggling. I'm so tired of feeling like anxious about paying bills and buying groceries and putting fuel in the car. Yeah. And I think it comes from a certain mindset, especially when you've gone through a majority of your life. Roger and I have been married 4 years this year. And prior to that, I had been with my ex-husband for almost 25 years. So yeah, like all of my adulthood essentially was very turbulent. It was very kind of scary. There were times when, before we had kids, and it was just us and the 2 cats, I didn't know how I was going to buy cat food. There were times when I would buy cat food and then we would just live off of a bag of potatoes. We would have some cooking oil, and we would have the pancake mix that you just add water to, but we didn't have syrup or butter. And we just kind of lived off of that. There were a couple of times when we had a friend who would, he would catch, like, at the time we lived in Crescent City, California, which is right on the coast. It's actually gorgeous. Look up Crescent City, California. You'll be amazed. Anywho, and he would fish, or he would catch crabs, and so he would give us a crab, and that's what we would have. There were a lot of times when we didn't know what we were going to eat. So to go from that to now I have plenty to pay the bills and we have leftover, that sort of thing, but not knowing what to do with it is kind of where I'm at. So anyway, so that's kind of the backstory of where I come from. So kind of, you know, always having to juggle things, and then with the kids, you start adding in children, and then it gets, you know, things get a little more anxious. And anyhow, so I am teaching myself how to budget, and I have been like really watching a lot of videos, like the Budget Mom videos. There's a few others that I can't think of off the top of my head. I think that one of them is, oh gosh, what's her name? Jan's on a Budget? Fran's on a Budget? I'll put it somewhere. But I know she uses the Budget Mom system, and so I've kind of looked up what the Budget Mom system was, because we get paid, Roger gets paid weekly, or at least he did with the other place, so we'll see what that's going on like. So currently so let me back up, because you know I'm kind of scatterbrained like a squirrel. So he's still working for his original employer, so he's still working for Ron, and will be working for Ron until Ron is either able to sell the 2 dump trucks that he has, because Roger's a truck driver, and so that's what he does, is he drives the dump truck to haul the sand and the gravel. I think I've mentioned this before. I don't know. Watch another video, perhaps it's in there. Anyhow, so for what Roger does, it was all up in the air. They didn't know whether or not the guy, Bobby, who bought the business was going to keep Roger on, but apparently he is. He's just never bothered to take 2 seconds to even say hello, although he did kind of creeper stalk him and follow him to one of the sand plants, which was really kind of creepy, but has never said a word to him, but is now wondering where he's at. So I'm like, get your life right. Anyhow, so whether or not Roger transitions over with the dump truck to this new person, if he pays for the dump truck and buys it from Ron or not, is kind of, that's what's up in the air. As far as what Roger does, he's still working for Ron until Ron figures out what he's doing as well. So a lot of people need to get their lives right. In the meantime, for the purposes of this video and for what I'm going to be doing, Roger gets paid weekly. I get paid, I guess it's bi-weekly. I get paid every other week. I don't even know the terms. That's how sad it is. But I do know weekly. So I get paid typically twice a month, although January will be a 3-paycheck month for me and a 5-paycheck month for Roger. Did I say that right? I don't know. Anyway, I'll get 3 paychecks in January. Roger will get 5. I think that's what I'm supposed to say. In the meantime, for December, it's just 4 for him and 2 for me. So I kind of took a look at what the Budget Mom system was that the one gal was using, and then of course the Budget Mom uses. And I realized we don't have a ton of bills. Like most of our bills are essentially like household bills, like things that you have to have. Like you have to pay your mortgage, you have to pay your insurance, you have to pay, we have a car note, so we have to pay for the truck. His name is Aries, and that's how I write him in my bill book, is I write him down as Aries. We have our phones. Let me see. We don't have a water bill. We don't have a gas bill, like household gas. We have fuel for the truck, but we don't have, like, you know what I'm saying. I have a washer and dryer payment because our washer and dryer died this past previous winter. But most of the stuff is like household stuff that you have to have regardless. We don't have a sewage bill, but we do have an electric bill and a trash bill or garbage bill because they come pick up our garbage. Oh, and I have Wi-Fi, because I have to because I work from home, and obviously to do anything else that I do, I have to have Wi-Fi. So essentially most of our bills are kind of like Keynote type bills. We also have child support that we're paying for Roger's youngest. Let's see what else. I think, oh, and then we have like groceries. That's not really a bill, that's like an expense. It's so sad, I don't even know what the terms are. So anyway, so we have like our regular like fixed every month bills, although the electric bill is kind of weird. Oddly enough, our electric bill comes from OG&E, which is supposed to be Oregon, or no, not Oregon, Oklahoma Gas and Electric, but they don't do gas. They just do electric. So I don't know why they just call themselves OE. But anywho, so we have that, and that one fluctuates based on usage, and I haven't figured out how to get us on the monthly plan where you just pay like whatever the average is all year. I'm not that smart. I haven't figured that out yet. It's a work in progress. What else? Anyway, I don't think I'm necessarily a dumb person, but these are things that I was never taught. And then because my parents never really kind of worried, if I wanted to go shopping, my parents just gave me money to go shopping. If I wanted something, they just bought it. I can honestly tell you that when my ex-husband and I first got married, I didn't know so much about the grocery store. Like I always went to the grocery store with my dad, but we always went to the commissary because he was military, or retired military. And it's very different, honestly. And so I didn't know that you could buy chicken in a bag, like chicken breast in a bag, or other parts in a bag. I also didn't know that hamburger came in tubes. I didn't know what Carl Budding was. And I didn't know that there were other hot dogs besides Oscar Mayer, because that's what we always bought. I didn't know anything about like generic or store brand products. Yeah, so that's essentially where we're coming from, is just the lack of knowledge. I'd like to think that I taught my kids better as far as like what's available in the grocery store, and that you can buy things in a tube or a bag. But yeah, I didn't even know that there were other brands of chicken other than Foster Farms. So yeah. So through trial and error and kind of taking a look at what we're spending every month and then what I think we're getting every month for pay, I think I've got a hold of it, I think. So that's what I'm going to show you today, is me trying to figure this out. And hopefully as I do these videos, and I'm going to be as honest as I can with you guys as to like what things look like for us every month, and we'll just kind of go from there, because I have, like I said, no idea. I'm trying to learn. I want to learn. I want us to get a hold of our finances, and because we have things that we need to take care of. We need to get the house finished. I want to pay off the truck. But then I have this idea in my head that even after we pay off the truck, I still want to put that money into savings somehow, so that we can buy another car later and not have to have a payment. I think that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. I don't know if it makes sense to anybody else. But essentially the same thing with anything that we're paying out that would be like what I consider a bill, like the washer and dryer, like even after that, to save up for the next appliance. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's like I have good intentions. Whether or not I can activate my squirrel brain enough to focus to get it done is another matter entirely. So let me get you switched over so you guys can kind of see. I hope you guys can see what I'm looking at, because I can't find my overhead tripod thingy. But yeah, so anyway, let's get started. Okay, so I'll show you these here in a second. Hopefully the glare on this is not too terrible. Sorry about that. So like I said, this is all new territory for me, so I'm going to kind of show you what I had done. I did map out what we have for bills. These are my fixed ones, although I put this one down as fixed because I have to pay it every month, and it's, it's like a household expense that has to come out no matter what, but it does vary from month to month on how much I have to pay, and that's the OG&E. So we have our truck, which is Aries, the house, the insurance, phones, the washer dryer, our container, because we bought a shipping container for extra storage to put here on the property. Again, electric bill, Wi-Fi, and trash. So those are our regular, no matter what happens, those are our bills. We only have two things for, that would be, I guess, kind of like debt, I suppose. And then we have fixed expenses. So these are items that we could obviously live without, but I pay them every month. And these actually come out automatically from my account. So Roger and I do have two accounts. We have his account. We call it his account because that's where I put his money for fuel for the truck to get to and from work. So that's that. And then, so then it's also where I put like the money that he uses to buy his chew, because he chews and I vape. So anyway, so his comes out as an allowance, as a set amount every week. And so whether or not he uses that full amount or not is up to him. So for variable expenses, I did spell fuel right? Okay, I did. For the variable expenses, how much fuel he uses every week will vary. So of course it'll vary in his account, but essentially I try to keep sending $150 regardless every week to his account. So we have fuel, we have food, we have the pets. Like I said, our tobacco, but his gets built into his. And then I only need to vape like once every month or so. Entertainment, cleaning supplies, which seems really weird to me because normally I used to put like groceries, and that was like cleaning supplies, food, pet food, like your toilet paper, all that kind of stuff was just what I would consider my grocery bill, but apparently that's not really what other people do. House maintenance repair, that's something that we want to save for. So it's not really variable right now. It's more or less variable because every time something catastrophic happens at the house, we have to scramble to take care of it. And then I do occasionally spend a little bit for to make like YouTube videos. So that's that. So I did write them out. And then, oops. One of the things, like I said, I liked about this planner was because it also came with the December already included for the last part of this year. So I did write them out, and then I kind of color coordinated them because one of the things that I learned is that there's something called a highlighter method, and it's something that the budget mom uses is the highlighter method. So that was kind of handy. So I picked a color for the first paycheck, the second, the third, and then the last paycheck. So yeah. And so Aaron's comes out automatically though. The container does not. Our insurance comes out automatically. Our Prime does automatically. Netflix, Canva, and our cell phones come out automatically from the account. Oh, and so does Paramount. Everything else I have to go in and actually like physically make a payment to. So I wrote them out, and then once they were written out, I divvied them up, like I said, between the paydays. And then kind of took a look at it to see what I had to pay this coming week. The other thing I did was I tried to figure out how much we have to pay every month. So this is our expenses for this is an approximation of what I think our checks should look like for each payday. The ones that are colored in here are the weeks that Roger and I both get paid. And then you can see that he's by himself on these two. So I put in our fixed income, our fixed expenses, fixed bills, variable expenses, debt, and then things I'd like to save for, essentially. And once I took out our income, our bills, expenses, the couple items we have for debt, I budgeted $500 for the month for Christmas. So I think that comes out to like $125 if I was going to do it by paycheck, but obviously Christmas will be here before our last paycheck. And then I'd like to save $150 by the end of the month, so that gives us $654 left over. So that would actually like probably roll over into savings, is I think the gist. So there's that. This is when I started trying to figure out like what I was going to do for like a weekly budget. I was just kind of playing with paper. That's what I do. I spend a lot of my life just kind of dinking around. So then, this is, I think, essentially what because I did look up the Budget Moms thing to kind of get an idea. So I'm going to write in pencil for now because I don't really know, how all of it's going to look. So for income, I have my check on this. Oh, this is for the 6th. Linda, and then Roger. I should be getting about $1,300. I think. It might be a little more than that because of holiday pay and everything, but we'll see. And then I normally get about $1,100, so I think it's gonna be a little bit more, but then taxes and insurance and all that kind of stuff, so I never know what to put. And then Roger is gonna get probably, because he didn't work Thursday or Friday, and his pay dates, the way his pay works is that he gets He turns in his hours on Wednesday, and then he works Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So for his his pay goes like Thursday to Wednesday or something like that. Normally before taxes, he makes, I don't know what he makes. Normally he brings home about $850, but I'm thinking that this week he'll probably bring around $700 maybe because of those 2 days. So that gives us 2,000, I think, if my maths. All right, so let's go back a page so I know what the actual dates are. So house is on the 6th. Paramount. Now I do get P-A-R-A-M-O-U-N-T. I do pay Paramount through my Amazon Prime, so there's a discount, so that's why it's only like $6. And the house, $10.53. Wi-Fi is on the 10th. That's $68. Actually, can you guys even see this? I don't know. I guess we'll do it in pen. But I'll show you my handy dandy new fountain pen that I got for myself. Actually, it's kind of funny because my grandma Betty loved fountain pens, and so I don't know how I stumbled upon it, but there was a really cool channel, and she was showing a fountain pen, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then a friend of mine who watches the videos every so often, she was showing me her fountain pen collection. I was like, oh, it's like, not like I had forgotten about them, but after talking to Tara about her fountain pens, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I started seeing like this fountain pen video channel, and I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgotten. But on Amazon Prime during their Prime Days thingy, it was $14, and it was normally like 35 or 37, I don't remember, but it was really nice. And it even comes with like the little adapter thing, so you can actually get ink out of like an ink well or an ink bottle, and it has a little diamond on there, and it's got the rose gold, and it's pink, so I thought it was really pretty. Anywho, so let's see, maybe you can see this better. House, do the 6, 10.53. Paramount, also on the 6th, but it's only $6. Wi-Fi, due on the 10th, $68. Can you see that a little bit better? I think so. Let's see. OG&E. Due on the 12th. And it is $165. And then I guess honestly, like, Roger's thing should probably be an envelope, I guess. And it's $150. Oh, and then we would have like, let's see, groceries. Now groceries, we normally spend around $150, sometimes more, sometimes less. It just depends on whether or not we go to the meat store or we just go to like the regular grocery store. And then we have pet food this week. And that's usually around 100. It's a little bit less than that, but I can't remember what we last paid for pet food. So let's add this up. So 10.53 plus 6 plus 68 plus 165 equals 12.92. So we have 2,000 minus 1292 equals 708. And 708 goes here. And so this actually comes out to 350. So this one I'm gonna put in pencil because I don't know if I have anything else. I'm just thinking. But as it is right now, so we have the 350 taken from the 708. This is with 358. So honestly, if I added in Christmas here for 300, because I still have a few things I need to buy. Right? That should make sense. So 150 plus 150 plus 100 plus 300 equals 700. So let's see, 700. So that would leave us with $8, right? Cool. So I think that's how this works. So anyway, so that's essentially what I'm going to try and do for the rest of the month, and budget things out. We get paid on, like I said, on Friday. So for right now, I don't have any sinking funds that I have planned or anything like for extra savings. I just don't. We'll see what it looks like when I put in the actual for what we get on Friday after we get our paychecks. And then we'll just kind of go, and then I'll bring y'all back and we'll do a recap and see how that looks. So anyhow. Okay guys, so I'm bringing you back to kind of see how everything worked out with everything. So this is what we actually got paid. So I got $1337.80, Roger got $619.57. Of course, he only had 3 days in that pay period because of course, you know, like I said just a little bit ago, Thanksgiving and then the day after happened, and he didn't work either of those days. This is what we had remaining in our account, and I do try to keep money in the account because this type of thing happens. So Paramount, like I said, is on automatic withdrawal from my account, and it actually came out before the 6th, so I didn't end up including that in the figures here because it should have come out on Friday. It came out the day before, or the day before that, so it was like Wednesday or Thursdays when it came out, but because I had money in the account, it just came out of whatever. So this was the amount I had left over on Friday morning after this had already come out, if that makes any sense. Wi-Fi was a little bit more than it normally is, and I'm not sure why it was $1.98 more, because that's weird. And then of course I have, I smudged my pan. OG&E was a little bit more also, and I'm not sure why it was $1 more, but whatever. Because I had also checked that, I think on Thursday I checked it, but then when it came time to actually make the payment, it was a little bit more. So that was weird. So this was the total we had for the bills. We're actually going to come out on the 6th, that unlike this one had already come out. So that was our total for the bills. That's what we had left over. Move that down here. We don't actually do an envelope system. Maybe someday if I could get all that straightened out, perhaps. So Roger's allowance was here. That was that amount. We only spent $112.30 on groceries, $91 on pet food. The $320 is different because I had purchased something on Amazon for Roger, and of course they don't take out the money until they actually ship it, and it was running late, so that's when they pulled that out, was the extra $20. We did end up eating out, so that was $23.51. So our total was $676.81. Oops, let me switch it down. $676.81, which left us with $19.38, which will stay in my account until we get paid again on the 13th. And like I said, I do like to keep anything extra which is why I normally round up. And so I'll probably just keep rounding up because it's so much easier than counting change, because this here was like a hot mess. Like this was like crazy. But anyhow, even like the amounts that we got paid, I think it would have been just better if I'd put in like 1337 and 619 for him. And then like the 47, because change is, I don't know, it's difficult for me. But anyway, so that's what we have left over right now in the account, and that, like I said, will stay until the 13th, and then we'll move on from there. But anyhow, so I did stay on track. I didn't overspend or anything like that. Not that there would have been anything to overspend from, but in general, which I think is a good thing. So I hope this helps someone, because I really wish that YouTube had been a thing when I was first starting out as an adult, and just to see the progression of like initially starting out and, you know, trying to get things taken care of, because I think that would have been a huge help for me. So anyway, these are going to be very, very real videos for me, and it's something that I have never shared before. So I hope it helps, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you did, of course, you know, like, comment, subscribe, do all the fun things. And until we get together again for the next paycheck, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week, and thank you guys so much for being here. Bye.